Welcome to the third video of 4 teaching you how to use the patient browser in the 3Shape Ortho system. So in this video you'll learn how to integrate directly with the Trias intraoral scanner, how you can integrate with 3Shape Communicate, and how you configure those integrations. So if you compare the two models here, direct Trias versus Communicate, let's look at direct Trias connection first. Well, basically what happens is that you make a scan with your Trias scanner. Those scans ends up in a file folder on your computer, and then the Ortho system simply picks up those scans from the file folder. So very, very easy to understand. In a Communicate environment, the Trias scan is being sent to the 3Shape Communicate cloud, and from there the 3Shape Ortho system picks up those scans. There's quite a few advantages by doing it in the cloud, and one of them is that once you have connected the Ortho system to the cloud, you can also receive scans and cases from other 3Shape users that you're connected with. But still, let's have a look at how it's being configured in the patient browser. Okay, so you can now see my desktop here, and the first thing I recommend that you do is that you create the folder on your computer yourself where you want these scans to be placed. Depending on which version of the Trias software and the Ortho system you have, this may be done automatically for you, but in this case I'll just show you how to do it manually. So for now I'll go to my C drive and I'll create a folder called DC for Direct Connect. So I just right click here and create a new folder, and I'll call this DC. One more thing you need to do is that in that folder you need to create 2 subfolders, one called incoming and one called outgoing. So I'll do that right now. And one more. Right, so now you have 2 folders called incoming and outgoing in the subfolder DC from the C drive. Okay, let's go to the patient browser on the Ortho system. Okay, so now we are back in the good old patient browser, as you can see. When I click on the Trias tab, which is up here, just next to the normal patients tab that we've been using in the other videos, when I click on this, I'll actually get an error message because I have not configured the integration yet. So there are 3 things you need to do in order to make the Trias direct integration to work. The first thing we already did, and that was to create the file folder. The second thing you need to do is you need to open your Trias software. I'll do that right here. Go into Configure, then go into Lab Connections, and then add what is called a new Direct Connect Lab. So I'll click that here. So I'll just call it Direct Connect. It needs to know where my folder is that I've just created. So in this case, I'll do C:, and then a backslash, and then DC for Direct Connect. Username and password for now you can just leave blank here. I always click Test Settings to check that it works correctly. I click OK when it's done, and I click OK. And as you can see, we now have a direct connection on the Trias software, and it indicates with the icon here DC for Direct Connect. So that's all you need to do on the Trias side. The final thing you need to do is you need to go into the Ortho control panel, and I'll just close the Trias software so you don't have to look at that. And in the Ortho control panel here, there is a link called Communication. This is where you need to do the final thing on the Trias integration. As you see here, Trias direct connection is disabled, so I just need to click Configure, set a tick mark in Enabled, And then I can type in the folder that I created in the first step. You can either browse or just type it in like I've done here. I click OK, and I confirm the save, and it's done. And remember, as always, in the control panel, as you learned in the previous video, click Save once more, yes. And then in order to make those changes count in Ortho Analyzer, you need to close the patient browser in Ortho Analyzer and restart it again. I'm now back in the patient browser, and when I click Triage now, I do not get an error message. And next time I do a scan in my Triage software and choose a direct lab connection, then those scans will end up here and you can add it to the patient browser. So that's all for Triage. When it comes to communicate, it's pretty much the same thing. When I click here, as you can see, I'll get an error message that I have not yet configured my inbox in 3Shape Communicate. So I'll do that right now. So the only thing you need to do is you need to open the control panel. And again, you click on communication. And as you can see here, you probably guessed it, now you need to configure 3Shape Communicate just above Direct Connect Triage that we did before. So I configure this, I click Enable, I type in my email address here like I have on 3Shape Communicate Network. And of course, if you don't have an account, you just go to 3shapecommunicate.com and create a free account there. You type in your password and you click OK. Say yes. And there will be a pop-up box sometimes where you need to say yes a couple of times. You just do that. It's to create folders and stuff like that. Okay, and again, click Save for the final changes, and you can now close the control panel again. So let me just close Ortho Analyzer and open it again. So I now click the Communicate tab and click Refresh. And as you'll see, there's actually an order waiting for me. So if I want to accept this order and add it into the patient browser, I simply right click and choose Accept. So if I want to, I can leave a message for the sender, but in this case I'll just click Accept. So you'll notice here a dialog box coming up. This will happen the first time you receive from a new lab or counterpart. It'll basically telling you that the Ortho system does not know the sender and that you'll need to add the details of the sender to the Ortho control panel. So I'll click OK. And as you can see here, the Ortho control panel has opened. The sender was actually Tim's Clinic 3Shape. So the only thing I need to do, you need to go to the 3Shape Communicate integration here and expand this section. And then as you can see here, set the user email. It's already in here, but you need to set the user email here. Yep, that's fine. I click OK. I save. Click Yes. Close the control panel again. And now we will add the case to my patient browser. If you get an error message like this, it will just basically tell me that I already have a patient with the same ID, so I can override or add to the existing patient, or I can create a new patient. In this case, I'll just create a new patient, and I'll give it the name Dr. Tim, and click Create. So now this order has left my Communicate tab and it has gone into the patient browser. So when I go to the patient tab here and click Search again to do a refresh, I'll actually see there's a new patient called Dr. Tim here. And that's it. So make sure to check out the other how-to videos in the series, and thank you for watching.